Tuck explained the situation to Little John.
It's Marion. She's been captured by Lord Owen of Clun.
Has she? Tuck was shocked by Little John's indifference. Robert moved closer to him. I saved you from the sheriff. John looked hard at Robert. So, you were the hooded man, were you? I was. I am. Then why didn't you join us? Tuck tried to explain.
He's a son of the Earl of Huntingdon.
Is he?
Then he'd better get his dad to rescue Marion.
You're all the same, aren't you?
We saved her father once. Did he join us?
No.
He bought his way back into favour with King John, and Marion was pardoned. Were we pardoned? Did Sir Richard lift a finger to help us? Not likely. We're still looking over our shoulders, aren't we? Still outlaws, still on the run, and you come here.
Robert interrupted him. Wait. You believed in Robin, didn't you? Why?
Because the fire burned bright in him, and for a time it warmed us all. But he's gone, and the fire went with him. It's all over. How could you understand? You ever starved? Ever been whipped because you forgot to lower your eyes when your masters rode by? Not you, because you're one of them.
Robert was furious.
Little John? Little brain, more like.
The taunt led to a fight with quarterstaves between Robert and Little John. Tuck was impressed with Robert's ability, but after a while he made them stop. Sullenly, John went into his hut. Robert and the others followed. John sat apart from them.
Leave us in peace.
But Robert had to win him over. Ever since I can remember, my father has told me that one day I'd become the Earl of Huntingdon. That was my destiny, my duty. When Robin died, Herne chose me to take his place.
No one can take his place.
That's what I believed, and why I couldn't do it. Even though I saw injustice everywhere, I lacked the courage. Then Marion came to Huntingdon. She was pale and lost, and her heart was broken. Whatever you think, she's still one of you. For a moment, Little John looked at Robert, and then he turned slightly away.
You're not the only one who lacked courage. I reckon we all did.
He held out his hand to Robert.
I'm with you.
Little John remembered that Will Scarlet had a brother, Amos, who ran an alehouse in Lichfield, and they made their way there, hoping they would find Scarlet. Amos was not at all helpful and denied any knowledge of his brother, in spite of Robert's insistence that he fetch him. Then Scarlet appeared suddenly and demanded to know who Robert was. Hernes Son. For a moment, Scarlet stood looking at Robert. Then he hit him, hard. Robert fell to the ground, and Scarlet turned his back on him and asked for a jug of ale. The onlookers roared with laughter, but Robert was not finished. He got to his feet and returned the blow. Scarlet shook his head to clear it.
I'll kill you!
Both men were incensed, and a crude, brawling fistfight ensued, in and out of the alehouse. Meanwhile, Gisburn had arrived in Lichfield. Rumours of the reappearance of Robin Hood riding a grey horse had led him to put two and two together and convince him that this new Robin was Robert of Huntingdon. He'd noticed the old outlaws seeking each other out and had followed them to Lichfield. He roused and led the watch to the alehouse to arrest them. But Amos, who was friendly with the sergeant of the watch, contrived to stall them until Robert and Scarlet, who had fought themselves to a standstill, were revived with buckets of water and spirited away to the safety of the forest. They sat on a wooded hillside overlooking a valley. Scarlet had just been told who Robert was. He couldn't conceal his surprise.
Who? The Earl of Huntingdon's your father? And Herne's chosen you?
He must be right round the maypole. Robert smiled fleetingly. We need you, Scarlet, to help rescue Marion.
You'll never get into Clun Castle, and if you did, you'd never get out again. You don't understand, do you? We ain't sharp anymore. Look at us. Look at me. Do you think I couldn't have floored you if I hadn't been on the ale?
And you two, Match and Little John, a year sitting on your bums watching sheep, and old Tuck there filling his belly with venison and sleeping most of the day. We was fast as wolves in Sherwood. They couldn't touch us. We could do anything. Take on anyone. We lost it. Robert shook his head. No, Scarlett. Nothing's forgotten. Nothing's ever forgotten. Everyone looked at Robert. Scarlett was shaken. This sounded like Robin, but he knew he was dead. What do you say? You heard me. No. It wasn't you I heard. Scarlett was confused, but Robert's determination stirred him. Take a miracle to bring it off. 5 of us. Much had a thought. 6, if we had Nazir. At Clun Castle, final preparations were being made for the wedding of Lord Owen and the Lady Marian. Gulner had given her a potion which had put her into a kind of trance and made her a willing participant in the ceremonies. With mistletoe in her hair, a heavy gold torque about her neck, and her face and arms tinted blue, she personified Arianrhod, the Celtic goddess of love. As part of the celebrations, Owen had decreed that there would be a blood game, and Nazir was prepared as his champion. Outside the castle, Robert rode up to the gatehouse and, in the manner to which he was born, announced that he had a message from the king. As the 2 guards came forward, Little John loosed an arrow from cover and killed one, while Robert dealt with the other. Scarlett and Little John wedged the portcullis so that it could not be closed, and then the 3 men made their way cautiously to the great hall. They were amazed when they saw Marian apparently enjoying Owen's company. Owen called for a new challenger for his champion. Come, my lords, I'll lay 10 marks to every one of yours. That's a fair wager. Robert stepped forward. I'll fight your champion, Owen, but not for money. For the Lady Marian. Owen laughed. I accept the challenge, you fool. Do you think you can walk into Clun alone and take her from me? I've 1,000 men in the valley. 1,000 men? You're too stupid to live. My guards would have lit the signal fires. He turned to his captain. Get him ready. Whatever the outcome, he's a dead man. The blood game began. As he wore a special mask, Nazir was not recognized by the outlaws, and Nazir did not know Robert was a friend. So the fight between them with sword and dagger was very real. Then Robert's dagger slashed Nazir's mask, and it fell away. Scarlett and Little John recognized him immediately. It's Nazir! Out on the hillside, Tuck had crept up to one of the castle outposts and set light to a signal fire. The lookout on the castle ramparts thought the castle was under attack and rang the alarm bell. In the confusion, Scarlett and Little John stopped Nazir and Robert fighting, and Robert and holding his sword at his throat, promised to kill him unless his men threw down their arms. 1,000 men, Owen, and you didn't believe me. Nazir picked up Marian and carried her out of the castle, the guards not daring to attack while Robert came behind, threatening Owen with his sword. As they reached the portcullis, Owen grabbed a flaming torch and threw it at Robert, drew his sword and lunged at him. Robert leapt back under the portcullis as the outlaws pulled out the wedge that propped it up. As Owen came forward to attack, the portcullis fell on him, skewering him to the ground. On the last day of the month, Sir Richard Leaford visited Nottingham Castle, where a gleeful sheriff expected to take ownership of all his lands. Abbot Hugo waved the contract. You did sign this, didn't you? Sir Richard nodded. I was desperate. Of course you were, agreed the sheriff. Desperate to save your daughter. Unfortunately, you failed, and now you failed again. Failed to discharge your debt, and everything you own belongs to us. But then, to the sheriff's shocked disbelief, Sir Richard thumped down 500 gold marks, obtained from the sale of the gold ornaments with which Owen had decked his intended bride. He snatched the contract from Hugo and tore it into little pieces. Look out of your window, Sheriff. The sheriff did so, and saw the Lady Marian riding past. She gently inclined her head. Later, in the forest of Sherwood, Sir Richard and Marian took their leave of Robert and the outlaws. "Will you go back to Huntingdon?" Robert shook his head. "Not yet." "Good fortune, Robert." Marian turned to go. "Herne protect you, my lady." She stopped and turned back to him, confused. "Will the others accept you as their leader?" Robert looked at her. "Would you?" And Herne watched from the forest as Robert walked purposefully towards the waiting outlaws.